Ahoy from BA. This is a Rorschach Ocean Update from the 17th of December 2024, a summary of what's going down in the 70% surface of the Earth covered in salt water. Pacific nations face tough decisions as they try to find a balance between ocean conservation and economic growth. According to an article published in The Guardian on Wednesday the 11th, Palau plans to reopen parts of their marine sanctuary to increase fishing, supporting local communities. Similarly, the Cook Islands are exploring seabed mining to diversify their economy, raising concerns about potential environmental risks. Kiribati also reopened a major marine reserve to address revenue loss. These nations manage 10% of the planet's oceans, and their actions are critical for global marine health. Having large protected areas to combat overfishing and climate pressures, and working for ocean conservation is becoming more and more difficult for these small island nations whose limited resources depend on the ocean itself. Next up, a humpback whale's extraordinary migration set a record for one of the longest journeys ever documented in the species. As reported in the research published on Wednesday the 11th in the journal Royal Society Open Science, researchers first spotted the whale off Colombia's Pacific coast in 2013 and again in 2017, before reappearing near Zanzibar in the Indian Ocean in 2022. A journey of at least 13,000 kilometers, more than 8,000 miles. Scientists used artificial intelligence and a vast database of whale tail photos from happywhale.com to track all its movements. Researchers speculate that climate change affecting krill availability or the search for new breeding grounds could have driven the animal on this long journey. Humpbacks are known for extensive migration, but this male's journey stands out for crossing two distant breeding zones. Talking about the Indian Ocean, Cyclone Chido has devastated Mayotte, a French territory in the area, marking the region's worst storm in almost a century. The strong wind destroyed homes and infrastructures, leaving tens of thousands homeless. The cyclone also caused at least 11 fatalities, but authorities are still counting. France has deployed firefighters, military personnel, and supplies to assist, with more reinforcements on their way. Airports and key facilities suffered severe damage, halting civilian air traffic. Cyclone Chido has now intensified over the Mozambique Channel, bringing heavy rains and winds to the coastal city of Pemba in Mozambique and neighboring regions. Authorities anticipate further flooding as the storm moves toward southern Malawi and Zimbabwe. From the Indian to the Atlantic Ocean, a Florida fisherman made an unusual catch. Over 55 pounds of cocaine worth about $1.7 million floating off Brevard County's coast. The drugs, sealed with a scorpion logo, were turned over to the Brevard County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Wayne Ivey invited the owner to claim the drugs at their office through social media, offering a free staycation at the county jail. Authorities are now investigated, and they praised the fisherman for reporting the find. The discovery is part of an ongoing problem of drug trafficking off the Florida coast. Still in the Atlantic, a team of Royal Marines, known as Row for Ukraine, had to be rescued just days into their Atlantic Ocean row due to technical issues with their boat. They were attempting a 3,000-mile or 5,000-kilometer journey from Gran Canaria to Barbados when steering problems caused them to drift. After realizing their rescue boat wouldn't arrive, a Coast Guard helicopter had to rescue the team. Lee Spencer, the team leader, explained that continuing the row would have been unsafe as they would have been too far out for rescue. Despite their disappointment, Spencer emphasized that the crew prioritized safety and made the right decision to abandon the mission. The team remains determined and plans to continue its mission to raise awareness for Ukraine. Let's now sail to the Arctic Ocean. Real Ice, a UK-based startup, is testing a controversial method to restore Arctic sea ice by pumping seawater onto the surface to thicken the ice. The goal is to slow or reverse summer ice loss over a vast area of the Arctic, potentially addressing climate change. Early trials in Cambridge Bay, Canada, have shown promising results, increasing ice thickness by up to 31 inches in some areas. However, the scientific community is skeptical about the plan's long-term results. Critics warn that such geoengineering projects could have unwanted consequences and distract from addressing fossil fuel emissions, the root cause of climate change. Real Ice still aims to scale the project over the next decade, relying on underwater drones working on green hydrogen. From one pole to the other, the world's largest iceberg escaped the vortex where it was trapped for months. It measures 3,800 square kilometers, almost 1,500 square miles, and is 400 meters or 430 yards thick. As we talked about in previous shows, the iceberg initially broke off from Antarctica in 1986 and got stuck in the Weddell Sea for over 30 years. After starting to drift northward in 2020, it got stuck again near the South Orkney Islands. Now the iceberg is moving north, heading toward the Atlantic Ocean, where it will probably break apart and melt in warmer waters. Scientists are monitoring its impact on the ecosystems it's passing through, as it may provide nutrients to ocean waters, supporting local marine life. Let's have a look at the Black Sea. Sever Export, a family-run business from Varna, Bulgaria, has transformed the invasive Rapana venosa sea snail into a culinary delicacy. Initially seen as a nuisance in the Black Sea, the snail now serves as a niche export product thanks to innovating processing techniques developed by the company. Sever Export has expanded its operations thanks to EU funding, adding new vessels and processing facilities. The company also supports local economies by providing income opportunities for amateur divers who harvest the snails. The company's sustainable practices help manage the impact of invasive snails on native ecosystems. The success of this business is inspiring other companies in the region to explore similar opportunities with underused marine species. More updates from the Black Sea as a severe storm heavily damaged 2 Russian oil tankers, causing them to sink. The incident occurred in the Kerch Strait, which separates Russia from Crimea. The storm caused one tanker to split in half, and both vessels triggered an oil spill. One crew member reportedly died. Authorities launched a rescue and cleanup operation involving tugboats, helicopters, and over 50 personnel. The Russian government is investigating the accident for criminal negligence. Both tankers had a combined oil capacity of approximately 8,400 tons. The full extent of the spill is still unknown. To learn more about this story, check out the Rorschach Turkey update with the link in the show notes. In other news, the NGO Médecins Sans Frontières has ended operations on its search and rescue vessel, Geo Barents, due to restrictive Italian laws and policies that hinder its ability to operate effectively. Since its launch in June 2021, the vessel rescued over 12,000 people, but faced sanctions from Italian authorities several times, including extended detentions in ports. New laws have worsened the situation, limiting the vessel's capacity to conduct rescues by directing it to distant ports. The NGO vows to return to the central Mediterranean Sea, a deadly migration route, and continues to advocate against the harmful policies restricting humanitarian missions. Closing with the proposed coal mine in West Cumbria, England, which raises concerns about its environmental impact on the region's coastal area. Even though the mine could be seen as a much-needed economic opportunity in a region struggling with industrial decline, there are worries about the mine's effect on the surrounding environment, namely the ocean and its delicate marine life. Some residents and environmentalists advocate for alternative projects, such as a community-owned wind farm. This initiative promises to generate renewable energy while preserving the integrity of the coastal ecosystem. The success of such green projects could offer a sustainable path for the region, ensuring job creation and economic development without damaging the environment, creating a more eco-friendly community's relationship with the ocean and its resources. And that's it for this week. Thank you for joining us. Would you like to be able to read the podcast as you listen to it? We are thinking of adding the text so you can follow along as if there were subtitles. Would you like that? Please write us to info@rorschach.com telling us why you would want it. We want to make your experience more enjoyable. See you next week!